Here in Florida, our ecosystem is dictated by elevation. While walking, you may not be able to tell if you're walking uphill or downhill, and the slight elevation will be minute, unlike if you're walking up north. But in Florida, the difference of inches make a big difference in the ecosystem you'll find in a particular place. Elevation determines an ecosystem's hydro period, which is how long the soil or ground will stay saturated with water after a rain. This hydro period impacts fire regime, which is the severity and how the duration of a fire will burn. Not only is this hydro period important for the fire, but it also impacts how the ecosystem gains nutrients in that area. When there's a longer hydro period and water stays saturated in the soil longer, a lot of times the ecosystem will have a cooler climate and a lot more nutrients for it to feed. While walking along the Florida Gulf Coast Nature Trail, there are two ecosystems that you see extensively. These ecosystems are the pine flatwoods and the oak hammocks. The pine flatwoods is the most extensive terrestrial ecosystem in Florida, and you can distinguish them because they have a flat topography, sandy soil with little organic matter, along with they are the driest and highest ecosystem in our state. The oak hammock is a little bit different. It is essentially just a tree island on an area of higher ground surrounded by a wetter low-lying area. The oak hammock's temperature is a little bit colder than the pine flatwoods. Slow-growing like oaks dominate the hammock's closed canopy, providing more shade than the higher pine flatwoods. Oak hammocks rarely burn, and oak leaves are naturally fire-resistant. One important feature that our campus has to offer is that we have a watershed. A watershed is an area of land that collects rainwater and then sheds it or drains it into a wetland or common body of water. Lakes, streams, wetlands, rivers, and groundwater can all be components of a watershed. FGC was built upon the watershed of Estero River. Stewart Slough runs between the main loop road and the buildings of South Village, draining rainwater and groundwater that comes from our campus and our surrounding ecosystem. So this right here is the ecotone, which is in between two different ecosystems. And you can see that by two different things. One is the decline in elevation. Also, you can tell by the rise in temperature. The temperature changes a lot, around 10 degrees from about here to over here, because there's way less coverage with the trees. This ecotone declines into a wetland, and what's really important about wetlands is it gives nourishment to the ecosystem around it. So it can actually collect rainwater and store it during the dry times of the year, as well as it does water purification. So it makes the fresh water more pure and gets all of the toxins out of it. Here are some limestone deposits. Limestone is very important for our ecosystem because it washes away some of the harmful toxins that might be in the rainwater, and so the ecosystem around it can use that water as nutrients. So right here you can see a beautiful pine tree, and it has left many pine cones. Right here in Florida Gulf Coast's nature trail is an oak hammock. An oak hammock is just essentially a large island of trees. These trees prefer cooler climates, which is why here you can tell the climate is a lot cooler because it shades itself from the sun so much.